Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Let's go ahead and bow our heads and pray. Yahuah, the Elohai of the heavens and the earth, we come before you humbly on this Shabbat. We come to you with softened hearts and that desire understanding. Yahuah, strengthen us in your truth. Keep our spirits strong and let our eyes remain on you. Abba, we thank you for the blessing of being able to fellowship in this way. And we thank you for bringing your children together to speak about your truth. Your word is so good, Yahuah. We love you, Yahuah. Praise Yahuah and praise Yahusha HaMashiach, our Savior and King. Blessed are their names, and in them is life. In Yahusha's name we pray. Amen. All right, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Welcome to Torah Truth Fellowship of Yahusha. I am your host, Brianna, and this is the Torah Portion. The week before last, because last week we did not have any fellowship, so the week before last we discussed the plagues of Egypt and the events prior to the Exodus. We spoke more about Bilam and his two sons, Yanis and Yambres, who were the magicians that Moshe and Aaron went up against. And this week we are going to pick right back up with the plagues, and we are going to lead into the commandments given for the Passover and the Exodus event. And this week we will be covering Exodus chapter 10, line 1 to chapter 13, line 16. Also, if you guys have not, go and join my Facebook group. I will leave the link down in the description below. And also go and check out my website, guys. I have completely redone my website and I've added all new content to it. This will also be the best way to keep up to date with my book giveaways. If you are interested, you can get the details now of my next upcoming giveaway. And without further ado, let's go ahead and begin. And actually, give me, guys, just one moment. All right, beginning in Exodus chapter 10, we are going to finish up discussing the plagues. So chapter 10 discusses the 8th plague, which is locusts. And we're going to start on line 1. Exodus 10:1. And Yahuah said unto Moshe, Go in unto Pharaoh, for I have hardened his heart, and the heart of his servants, that I might show these my signs before him. Now, I want you to keep in mind that when it says that Yahuah hardened Pharaoh's heart, he didn't make Pharaoh evil. He strengthened the evil that was already in Pharaoh's heart, just as he strengthens our hearts to be obedient and walk with him. And we can see Paul making a reference to this as well. Romans 9:17 through 22. For the scripture says unto Pharaoh, Even for the same purpose have I raised you up, that I might show my power in you, and that my name might be declared throughout all the earth. Therefore he has mercy on whom he will have mercy, and whom he will he hardens. You will say then unto me, Why does he yet find fault? For who has resisted his will? Nay, but, O man, who are you that reply against Elohim? Shall the thing formed say to him that formed it, Why have you made me thus? Has not the potter power over the clay of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another unto dishonor? What if Elohim, willing to show his wrath, to make his power known, and endured with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction? So Yahuah does these things. He did raise Pharaoh up, and he hardened Pharaoh's already evil heart for a purpose, to be an example. And we'll discuss exactly why at the very end of this. And I say that he hardened what was already evil because at the end of the day, you have free will. You have a choice to make. I mean, it is spiritual to a point. At the end of the day, you still have free will, and you still have the power to say yes, and you still have the power to say no. So, it is spiritual to an extent. So, like I said, he raised up Pharaoh, and he hardened what was already there in Pharaoh's evil heart for a purpose, so he could be used as an example. So, 2 Timothy chapter 2, lines 19 through 21. Nevertheless, the foundation of Elohim stands sure, having this seal, Yahuah knows them that are his, and let everyone that names the name of Mashiach depart from iniquity. But in a great house there are not only vessels of gold and silver, but also of wood and of earth, and some to honor, and some to dishonor. If a man therefore purge himself from these, he shall be a vessel unto honor, sanctified, and meet for Adonai's use, and prepared unto every good work. Yahuah creates all men, and some for honor, and some for dishonor. Some he creates to become his servants, and others he creates to serve Satan and carry out Satan's purpose. Now, really quickly, let's read line 1 from Exodus in the Targums. This is Exodus 10:1 in the Targums. And Yahuah spake to Moshe, Go in unto Pharaoh, for I have made strong the design of his heart, and the design of the heart of his servants, to set these my signs among them. He made the design of Pharaoh's heart strong. So he didn't make Pharaoh evil. Pharaoh was already evil, and he had an evil heart, and Yahuah just strengthened that. All right, now we are going to read through to line 11. Give me, guys, just one moment. Okay, reading through to line 11. Exodus 10:2 through 11. And that you may tell in the ears of your son and of your son's son what things I have wrought in Mitzrayim, and my signs which I have done among them, that ye may know how that I am Yahuah. And Moshe and Aaron came in unto Pharaoh, and said unto him, Thus says Yahuah, Elohai of the Ivrim, How long will you refuse to humble yourself before me? Let my people go. Behold, tomorrow I will bring the locusts into your coast, and they shall cover the face of the earth, that one cannot be able to see the earth. And they shall eat the remnant of what is escaped, which remains unto you from the hail, and shall eat every green tree which grows for you out of the field. Oh, hold on, guys. Oh, gosh. Technical difficulty, guys. Sorry for this. One moment. Okay, sorry about that. Technical difficulties on my end, but everything is good now. All right. Else if you refuse to let my people go, behold, tomorrow I will bring the locusts into your coast, and they shall cover the face of the earth, that one cannot be able to see the earth. And they shall eat the remnant of that what is escaped, which remains unto you from the hail, and shall eat every tree which grows out for you of the field. And they shall fill your houses and the houses of all your servants, and all the houses of the Mitzrayim, which neither your fathers nor your fathers' fathers have seen, since the day that they were upon the earth unto this day. And he turned himself and went out from Pharaoh. And Pharaoh's servants said unto him, How long shall this man be a snare unto us? Let the man go, that they may serve Yahuah Elohim. And you know not that the Mitzrayim is destroyed. And Moshe and Aaron were brought again unto Pharaoh. And he said unto them, Go serve Yahuah Elohim. But who are they that shall go? And Moshe said, We will go with our young, and with our old, and with our sons, and with our daughters, and with our flocks, and with our herds we will go, for we must hold a feast unto Yahuah. And he said unto them, Let Yahuah be so with you, as I will let you go and your little ones. Look to it, for evil is before you. Now so, go now, ye that are men, and serve Yahuah, for that ye did desire. And they were driven out from Pharaoh's presence. All right, so now we're to the locusts. Pharaoh, once again, he wouldn't let the people go. And Moshe tells them that if you deal deceitfully with us, that Yahuah is going to send the locusts upon you. And whatever herb is left standing that the hail didn't destroy, the locust is going to destroy it. All right, Exodus. Feeling good? Oh, wait, I just read that. Did I put it in here twice? Oh, no, 2 through 11. My bad. All right, Exodus 10:12 through 15. And Yahuah said unto Moshe, Stretch out your hand over the land of Mitzrayim for the locusts, that they may come up upon the land of Mitzrayim, and eat every herb of the land, even all that the hail has left. And Moshe stretched forth his rod over the land of Mitzrayim, and Yahuah brought an east wind upon the land all that day and all that night. And when it was morning, the east wind brought the locusts. And the locusts went up over all the land of Mitzrayim, and rested in all the coasts of Mitzrayim. Very grievous were they. Before them there were no such locusts as they, neither after them shall there be such. For they covered the face of the whole earth, so that the land was darkened. And they did eat every herb of the land, and the fruit of the trees which the hail had left. And there remained not any green thing in the trees, or in the herbs of the field, through all the land of Mitzrayim. So the whole time this is going on too, the Hebrew children, they were protected in the land of Goshen as well. They did not have to go through any of the plagues. They were hidden from it, and they were kept safe. And in the latter, when the children are regathered, we see in Psalms 27:5, For in the day of evil he shall hide me in his sukkah, in his tabernacle. In the secret of his tabernacle shall he hide me. He shall set me up upon a rock. In the day of trouble, Yahuah will hide his people in his sukkah, in his tabernacle. And we can compare this also with Isaiah 4, lines 5 through 6. And Yahuah will create upon every dwelling place of Mount Sion, and upon her assemblies, a cloud and smoke by day, and the shining of a flaming fire by night. For upon all glory shall be a defense, and there shall be a tabernacle for a shadow in the daytime from the heat, and for a place of refuge, and for a covert from the storm and from rain. All right, now we're going to read till line 19. Exodus 10:16 through 19. Then Pharaoh called for Moshe and Aaron in haste, and he said, I have sinned against Yahuah Elohim, and against you. Now therefore forgive, I pray you, my sin only this once, and entreat Yahuah Elohim that he may take away from me this death only. And he went out from Pharaoh and entreated Yahuah, and Yahuah turned a mighty strong west wind, which took away the locusts and cast them into the Red Sea, and there remained not one locust in all the coasts of Mitzrayim. Now I want to compare this first with the Targums. So this is Exodus 10, line 19 in the Targums. And Yahuah turned a wind from the west of exceeding strength, and it carried away the locust, and bare him to the sea of Suf. And there was not one locust left in all the borders of Mizraim, and even such as had been salted in vessels for needed food, those too the western wind bare away, and they went. So the Targums confirms what we are reading here in the Masoretic text. Now let's read Jasher 80 through 33. And Yahuah sent and brought numerous locusts into Mitzrayim, and Shalom, Shagol, and Shagol, locusts of each of its kind. So I guess this is just like different classes of the locusts, which devoured all that the hail had left remaining. Then the Mitzrayim rejoiced the locusts, although they consumed the produce of the field, and they caught them in abundance and salted them for food. And Yahuah turned a mighty wind of the sea, which took away all the locusts, even those that were salted, and thrust them into the Red Sea. Not one locust remained within the boundaries of Mitzrayim. Now what is interesting is when we look at the book of Revelation, one of the plagues is man is plagued with, you guessed it, locust. Revelation 9, 1 through 11. And the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth. And to him was given the key of the bottomless pit. And he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose a smoke out of the pit, and as the smoke of a great furnace, and the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit. And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, and unto them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power. And it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of Elohim in their foreheads. And to them it was given that they should not kill them, but that they should be tormented 5 months. And their torment was a torment of a scorpion, when he strikes a man. And in those days shall men seek death, and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. And the shapes of the locusts were like unto horses prepared unto battle, and on their heads were as it were crowns like gold, and their faces were as the faces of men, and they had hair as the hair of women, and their teeth were as the teeth of lions, and they had breastplates as it were breastplates of iron, and the sound of their wings was as the sound of chariots of many horses running to battle, and they had tails like unto scorpions, and there were stings in their tails, and their power was to hurt men 5 months. And they had a king over them, which was the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name is in the Ivrit tongue Abaddon, but in the Yavani tongue has his name Apollyon. Now, personally, to me, I think that the angel that has the key to the bottomless pit, this Abaddon, I believe that this is Satan unleashing his army. So if you're following my Enoch series, so you remember in my Enoch series, we see that when Yahuah bound these fallen watchers beneath the earth, he left 1/10 of them with Satan, and 9/10 proceeded to the place of condemnation. So I believe that this is Satan being cast out of heaven forever, and he is coming down the final time to unleash these fallen watchers in the last day. So they're Nephilim children when they die, their spirits are still here on the earth. Their spirits are what we know as demons. And also there's a hierarchy to demons. So there's different kinds of demons. So the 1/10 of Satan's fallen watchers that are still here on the earth with him, these are also demons. They're just, I guess you could say, more powerful demons. But now the rest of the fallen watchers that have been bound up all this time, now they're going to be released back into the earth. So if you think about it, and if you follow my Enoch study, the fallen watchers are the biggest reason that the flood came onto the earth, that they brought about the first end, and they are going to help bring about the latter end as well. Okay, so yeah, I believe that this is Satan and his demons plaguing mankind with all kinds of, I don't know, plagues, tormenting them for 5 months, and they had a king over them, the angel of the bottomless pit. And I mean, who else could that be? The angel who in the Hebrew tongue is called Abaddon, which means destruction or ruin. The angel of destruction. What angel destroys? That is right, brothers and sisters, it is Satan, or shall we call him Azazel. He is the destroyer who is king over those who torment men. All right, now let's go ahead and finish chapter 10. Exodus 10:20 through 29. But Yahuah hardened Pharaoh's heart, so that he would not let the children of Yashar'el go. And Yahuah said unto Moshe, Stretch out your hand toward the heavens, that there may be darkness over the land of Mitzrayim, even darkness which may be felt. And Moshe stretched forth his hand toward the heavens, and there was a thick darkness in the land of Mitzrayim 3 days. They saw not one another, neither rose any from his place for 3 days, but all the children of Yashar'el had light in their dwellings. And Pharaoh called unto Moshe and said, Go ye, serve Yahuah, only let your flocks and your herds be stayed. Let your little ones also go with you. And Moshe said, You must give us also sacrifices and ascending smoke offerings, that we may sacrifice unto Yahuah Eloheinu. Our cattle also shall go with us. There shall not a hoof be left behind. For thereof must we take to serve Yahuah Eloheinu. And we know not what we must serve Yahuah until we come thither. But Yahuah hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he would not let them go. And Pharaoh said unto him, Get you from me, take heed to yourself, and see my face no more. For in that day you see my face, you shall die. And Moshe said, You have spoken well. I will see your face again no more. All right, so now we're going to talk about the plague of darkness. And likewise, in the last days, one of the plagues is darkness. It says the sun won't shine and the moon won't give her light. And while there be physical darkness, don't forget, brothers and sisters, that we also live with spiritual darkness as well. And that darkness is going on right now, and it is growing stronger and stronger as we get closer and closer to the end of things. So let's talk a little bit more about this spiritual darkness for a second. Revelation 16:4 through 11. And the third angel poured out his vial upon the rivers and the fountains of waters, and they became blood. And I heard the angel of the waters say, You are righteous, O Yahuah, which are and was and shall be, because you have judged thus. For they have shed the blood of the Kodashim and prophets, and you have given them blood to drink, for they are worthy. And I heard another out of the altar say, Even so, Yahuah Elohim Sevaoth, true and righteous are your judgments. And the fourth angel poured out his vial upon the sun, and the power was given to him to scorch men with fire. And the men were scorched with great heat, and blasphemed the name of Yahuah, which has power over these plagues. And they repented not to give him glory. And the fifth angel poured out his vial upon the seat of the beast, and his kingdom was full of darkness. And they gnawed at their tongues for pain, and blasphemed the Yahuah of heaven because of their pains and their sores, and repented not of their deeds. So these are the angels that are pouring out the plagues of Yahuah upon the earth in the end times. And here, at the end, it says the fifth angel poured out his vial, and the beast of the kingdom becomes full of darkness. Everyone blames Yahuah for it instead of repenting of their deeds. Now let's talk about this darkness a little bit more in depth. Do I think that the earth will be plagued with physical darkness? Yes. But what about spiritual darkness, evil? Genesis 1:1 through 5. In the beginning, Elohim created the heavens and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Ruach Elohim moved upon the face of the waters, and Elohim said, Let there be light. And there was light. And Elohim saw the light, and it was good. And Elohim divided the light from the darkness, and Elohim called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. So in the beginning there was darkness. The earth was without form, and it hadn't been created yet. And Yahuah saw the darkness, and he said, let there be light. And he called the light day, and the dark night. Now I want to point out here that he is not talking about physical day and night. The sun, the moon, and the stars, what we use to track the days, the months, and the years, were not created until day 4. Okay, so what does this mean? On day 1, Yahuah created light and darkness. He created good and evil, life and death, Torah and destruction. So, 1 Thessalonians 5, 1 through 5. But of the times and the appointed seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of Yahuah so comes as a thief in the night. For when they shall say, peace and safety, then sudden destruction comes upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that that day should overtake you as a thief. Ye are all the children of light and the children of day. We are not of the night, nor of darkness. So we are the children of light and the children of day, spiritual daytime, and the wicked children of the night and darkness. They are of wicked and they are evil. Isaiah 59, 7 through 10. Their feet run to evil, and they make haste to shed innocent blood. Their thoughts are the thoughts of iniquity. Wasting and destruction are in their paths. The way of peace they know not, and there is no judgment in their goings. They have made them crooked paths. Whosoever goes therein shall not know peace. There is judgment far from us, neither does justice overtake us. Therefore is judgment far from us, neither does justice overtake us. We wait for light, but behold obscurity, for brightness, but we walk in darkness. We grope for the wall like the blind, and we grope as if we had no eyes. We stumble at noonday as in the night, and we are in desolate places as dead men. This is talking about the wicked, those who are lost, those who are ever growing in knowledge, but never coming to the truth. Their thoughts are full of iniquity, and they have no rest. Their paths are crooked. They hope for light, but they behold obscurity or confusion. They get confused about what is true brightness because they're not following the Torah, so they don't know what is true brightness. They are not taking Yahuah's definition of what light is. Think about modern religion. Think about Christianity. They are so confused, and in their confusion, they think that they are following light, but where did I go? But they are really stumbling along the crooked paths, and Yahuah allows this to happen because it is your job to seek out the truth. They did away with the law, and they celebrate pagan feast days. They use incorrect names for the Father and the Son. But the truly sad part is most of these people genuinely think that they are honoring and serving Yahuah and Yahusha, and they are genuine people who were deceived into the lie, but they also have no desire to seek the truth for themselves. So for that, their punishment is destruction. They grope for the wall like the blind, like they're stumbling through darkness. They stumble at noonday as the night. They are in desolate places, like as dead men. They are zombies. Modern Hollywood has this depiction of zombies, like rising from the dead and plaguing the world. But this is the real zombies, blind, deaf, and having absolutely no understanding. Confusion has been their portion, and they are happy with it. Psalms 119, 105. Your word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. The word, Yahuah's Torah, is light because it lights the path for us to walk. It shows us the way. There is no light for destruction, just darkness, wandering in the wilderness, lost. Proverbs 6:23. For the commandment is a lamp and the Torah is life, and reproofs of instruction are the way of life. Isaiah 8:13 through 22. Sanctify Yahuah Sebaoth himself, and let him be your fear, and let him be your dread, and he shall be for a sanctuary, but for a stone of stumbling, and for a rock of offense to both the houses of Yashar'el. to both the houses of Yashar'el, for a gin and for a snare to the inhabitants of Jerusalem. And many among them shall stumble and fall and be broken and be snared and be taken. Bind up the testimony and seal the Torah among my Talmudim, and I will wait upon Yahuah that hides his face from the house of Yaakov, and I will look for him. Behold, I and the children whom Yahuah has given to me are for signs and for wonders in Yashar'el from Yahuah Sevaoth, which dwells in Mount Sion. And when they shall say unto you, seek unto them that have familiar spirits, and unto wizards that peep and that mutter, should not a people seek unto their Elohim for the living to the dead, to the Torah and to the testimony? If they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them, and they shall pass through it, hardly bestead and hungry. And it shall come to pass that when they shall be hungry, they shall fret themselves, and shall curse their king and their Elohim, and look upward, and they shall look unto the earth, and behold trouble and darkness, dimness of anguish, and shall be driven to darkness. All right, we've got a couple more things to go through, and then we are on to chapter 11. Now we're going to read from Jasher 80, 36 through 40. And Elohim sent darkness upon Mitzrayim, and the whole land of Mitzrayim and Pathrock became dark for 3 days, so that a man could not see his hand when he lifted it up to his mouth. At that time died many of the people of Yashar'el who had rebelled against Yahuah, and who would not hearken to Moshe and Aaron, and believed not in them that Elohim had sent them, and who had said, we will not go forth from Mitzrayim, lest we perish with hunger in a desolate wilderness, and who would not hearken to the voice of Moshe. And Yahuah plagued them in the 3 days of darkness, and Yashar'el buried them in those days, without the Mitzrayim knowing of them, rejoicing over them. And the darkness was very great in Mitzrayim for 3 days, that any person who was standing when the darkness came remained standing in his place, and he that was sitting remained sitting, and he that was lying continued lying in the same state, and he that was walking remained sitting upon the ground in the same spot. And this thing happened to all the Mitzrayim until the darkness had passed away. Just as we see in the last days, there will be a great destruction on this earth. Revelation 18:4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. And last, before we move on, I want to read lines 22 and 23 from the Targums. So this is Exodus 10, 22 through 23. And Moshe stretched out his hand towards the height of the heavens, and there was no darkness in all the land of Mitzrayim. And there was darkness in all the land of Mitzrayim 3 days. No man saw his brother, and none arose from his place 3 days. But among all the sons of Israel there was light, that the wicked among them who died might be buried, and the righteous might be occupied with the precepts of the law in their dwellings. So not only did the Hebrews have light in the land of Goshen, they also buried those who were not listening, and they died. So they buried them. All right, now we're going to move on to chapter 11. So this chapter speaks about the last plague. The smiting of the firstborn, beginning with lines 1 and 2. Exodus 11, 1 through 2. And Yahuah said unto Moshe, yet I will bring one more plague upon Pharaoh and upon Mizraim. Afterwards he will let you go hence, and when he shall let you go, he shall surely thrust you out hence altogether. Speak now in the ears of the people, and let every man borrow of his neighbor, and every woman of her neighbor, jewels of silver and jewels of gold. This is actually a promise that was given to Abraham in Genesis. Let's have a look. Genesis 15, 13 through 14. And he said unto Avram, know of a surety that your seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward they shall come out with a great substance. So now we're going to read all the rest of the way. We're going to read the rest of the way through to line 10. So Exodus, did I read it? Yeah. I don't know why I put to line 9 on here, but yes, to line 10. So Exodus 11, 3 through 10. And Yahuah gave the people favor in the sight of Mitzrayim. Moreover, the man Moshe was very great in the land of Mitzrayim, in the sight of Pharaoh, in the sight of Pharaoh's servants, and in the sight of the people. And Moshe said, thus says Yahuah, about midnight will I go out into the midst of Mitzrayim, and all the firstborn in the land of Mitzrayim shall die, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sits upon his throne, even unto the firstborn of the maidservant that is behind the mill, and all the firstborn of the beasts. And there shall be a great cry throughout the land, all the land of Mitzrayim, such as there was none like, nor shall be like it any more. But against any of the children of Yashar'el shall not a dog move his tongue against man or beast, that ye may know that Yahuah puts a difference between the Mitzrayim and Yashar'el. And all these your servants shall come down unto me, and bow down themselves unto me, saying, Get you out, and all the people that follow you, and after that I will go out. And he went out from Pharaoh in a great anger. And Yahuah said unto Moshe, Pharaoh shall not hearken unto you, that my wonders may be multiplied in the land of Mitzrayim. And Moshe and Aaron did all the wonders before Pharaoh, and Yahuah hardened Pharaoh's heart, so that he would not let the children of Yashar'el go out of his land. So let's talk about line 9 really quick. Yahuah tells Moshe that Pharaoh will not hearken unto him, so that Yahuah's wonders may be multiplied in the land of Egypt. And we see a little bit of this too in Joshua 2, 9 through 11. And she said unto the men, I know that Yahuah has given you the land, that your terror is fallen upon us, and that all the inhabitants of the land faint because of you. For we have heard how Yahuah dried up the water of the Red Sea for you when ye came out of Mitzrayim, and what ye did unto the 2 kings of the Amorim, that were on the other side of the Jordan, Sihon, and Og, whom ye utterly destroyed. And as soon as we heard these things, our hearts did melt, and neither there remain any more courage in any man because of you. For Yahuah Elohim, he is Elohim in the heaven above and the earth beneath. This is the man that Joshua, or Yahusha, son of Nun, sent into Jericho to spy out the land. And this was the purpose of Yahuah multiplying the plagues on Egypt, so that the other nations would hear and tremble and be scared of his people who he had delivered with a strong hand. And think about this in the end times. It says that the gathering out of Egypt, out of Babylon, wherever you want to call it, is going to be so great that they won't even be talking about the first one anymore. So all nations will see this event, and they will fear and tremble, and their hearts will faint. Now, I don't know about you, brothers and sisters, but I want to be part of that group that's going up to Zion. Okay, on to chapter 12. Finally, we are going to talk about the Passover. And this is where we're going to start getting to the real meat, brothers and sisters. We're really about to start unpacking some information in this chapter. This is the longest chapter we have to go through. So we're going to begin with lines 1 through 4. Exodus 12, 1 through 4. And Yahuah spoke unto Moshe and Aaron in the land of Mitzrayim, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year unto you. Speak ye unto the assembly of Yashar'el, saying, In the 10th day of this month shall they take to them every man a lamb, according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for a house. And if the household be too little for a lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of the souls. Every man according to his eating shall make your count for the lamb. So, this we know a lot of Jewish traditions have been added to it, and one of them is Rosh Hashanah, being the new year in the 7th month. So in the fall is where the modern day Jews celebrate the beginning of the new year, but the beginning of the new year comes in the March or April time frame in the spring, when everything is made new again. This is Yahuah's New Year. Yahuah's calendar is based off of the cycle of the new moon and not the sun per se. The sun is used for days, but the moon is used to track the months. Sirach, we see this in Sirach 43, 6 through 8. He made a moon also to serve in her season for a declaration of times and a sign of the world. From the moon is the sign of the feast, a light that decreases in her perfection. The month is called after her name, increasing wonderfully in her changing, being an instrument of the armies above, shining in the expanse of heaven. So the moon is used to determine the feast days and the months, and the sliver of the new moon is what is used to determine this. But let's stay on topic here. Let's read lines 5 through 6. Exodus 12, 5 through 6. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. Ye shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats, and ye shall keep it until the 14th day of the same month. And the whole multitude of the assembly of Yashar'el shall kill it in the evening. This is a big prophecy right here about our Messiah. A lot of people get confused here about when it's actually killed and when it's eaten as well. And really quick, let's just look at Jubilees 49:1. Remember the commandment which Yahuah commanded you concerning the Pesach, that you should celebrate it in its season on the 14th month, and that you should kill it before it is evening, and that they should eat it by night of the evening of the 15th, from the time of the setting of the sun. So, there's a little off topic, but the book of Jubilees does provide us with some further clarification on that subject. And we know as well that Peter referred to our Messiah as a lamb without blemish or spot. 1 Peter 1:19. But with the precious blood of Mashiach as a lamb without blemish and without spot. So we do Passover now in remembrance of him, and not that the blood of the physical lamb or sheep cleanses us or saves us. It's just remembering, because he said to do this in remembrance of me, because his death and his blood is what saves us. It's what covers our sins. All right, let's read to line 10. Exodus 12:7 through 10. And they shall take of the blood, and shall strike it on the two side posts, and on the upper door posts of the houses, wherein they shall eat it. And they shall eat the flesh in that night, and roast with fire, and matzah, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it. Eat not of it raw, nor sodden it all with water, but roast with fire, his head, and with his legs, and with the putents thereof. And ye shall let nothing of it remain until the morning, and that which remains of it until the morning ye shall burn with fire. Right, now let's look at Matthew 28:5 through 6. And the angel answered and said unto the woman, Fear not ye, for I know that ye seek Yahusha, which was crucified. He is not here, for he is risen. As he said, Come, see the place where Adonai lay. So, whatever is left, you shall burn with fire. And we see that Messiah fulfilled that prophecy when he left his tomb. And we know that his blood covers us. Instead of our doorpost, it covers us symbolically. Praise Yahuah. Exodus 12:11 through 14. And thus shall ye eat it, with your loins girded, and your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand, and you shall eat it in haste. It is Yahuah's Pesach. For I will pass through the land of Mitzrayim in this night, and will smite all the firstborn in the land of Mitzrayim, both man and beast, and against all the Elohai of Mitzrayim will I execute judgment. I am Yahuah, and the blood shall be to you for a mark upon the houses where ye are. When I see the blood, I will pass over you, and the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you, when I smite the land of Mitzrayim. And this day shall be unto you for a memorial, and ye shall keep it as a feast to Yahuah throughout your generations. And ye shall keep it as a feast by an ordinance forever. So let's talk about line 14. Keep it as an ordinance forever. We do it with a renewed understanding, brothers and sisters, and seeing how this all pointed to Messiah. This is all about pointing to him and his offering that he made for us. Paul said to do it. 1 Corinthians 5:7 through 8. Purge out therefore the old leaven, that ye may be a new lump, as ye are matzah. For even Mashiach our Pesach is sacrificed for us. Therefore let us keep the feast, not with old leaven, neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness, but with the matzah of sincerity and truth. So, purge out old leaven. Leaven, spiritually speaking, is iniquity or sin. Purge out sin so you may be a new lump, a new creation. We are like matzah, and Yahusha is our Passover sacrifice, our spotless lamb. So let us keep the feast, not with old leaven, with sin or old understanding. Purge out what you have been taught, and allow your heart and your mind to be renewed through Yahusha HaMashiach. Purge it out with the matzah of security and truth. Seek the truth with all your heart, brothers and sisters, and you will find it. Exodus 12:15 through 20. 7 days shall ye eat matzah. Even the first day ye shall put away leaven out of your houses. For whosoever eats hametz from the first day until the 7th day, that soul shall be cut off from Yashar'el. And in the first day there shall be a holy assembly, and in the 7th day there shall be a holy assembly to you. No manner of work shall be done in them, save that which every man must eat, that only may be done of you. And ye shall guard the feast of matzah. For in the selfsame day I have brought your armies out of the land of Mitzrayim. Therefore shall ye guard this day in your generations by an ordinance forever. In the first month, on the 14th day of the month at evening, ye shall eat matzah, until the 21st day of the month at evening. 7 days there shall be no hametz found in your house. Whosoever eats that which is hametz, even that soul shall be cut off from the assembly of Yashar'el. Whether he be a stranger or born in the land, ye shall eat nothing with hametz. In all your habitations shall ye eat matzah. So, and this is also pointing to Messiah. So, in hametz is bread that has leavening agents in it. Yeast. John 6, 50 through 58. This is the bread which comes down from heaven, that a man may eat thereof and not die. I am the living bread which came down from heaven. If any man eat of this bread, he shall live forever. And the bread that I will give is my flesh, which I will give for the life of the world. The Yahudim therefore strove among themselves, saying, How can this man give us his flesh to eat? Then Yahusha said unto them, Amen, amen, I say unto you, except ye eat the flesh of the Son of Adam and drink his blood, ye have no life in you. Whoso eats my flesh and drinks my blood has eternal life, and I will raise him up at the last day. For my flesh is meat indeed, and my blood is drink indeed. He that eats my flesh and drinks my blood dwells in me, and I in him. As the living Father has sent me, and I live by the Father, so that he eats me, and even he shall live by me. So he that eats me, even he shall live by me. And that is the bread which came down from heaven, not as your fathers did eat manna, and are dead. But he that eats of this bread shall live forever. And Matthew 16:6. Then Yahusha said unto them, Take heed and beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. So take heed and beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees. So what does this mean? Well, lines 11 and 12 actually clear that up for us. How is it that ye do not understand that I spoke not to you concerning bread, that ye should beware of the leaven of the Parashim, the Pharisees, and of the Sadducees? Then understood they how he bade them not beware of the leaven of bread, but of the doctrine of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees. So Yahusha, he was talking about leavened bread. But he wasn't, when he was talking about leavened bread, he wasn't actually talking about bread. He was talking about the doctrine of the Pharisees and the Sadducees taught. And what did Messiah say that they taught? And what did Messiah say about what they taught? He said, Howbeit did Isaiah prophesy of you hypocrites, saying, In vain this people does worship me. They draw nigh to me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. And they laid aside the commandments of Elohim to guard their own traditions. This is the spiritual side of leaven. All right, now we are going to read lines 21 through 24. Exodus 12, 21 through 24. Then Moshe called for all the elders of Yashar'el, and said unto them, Draw out, and take you a lamb according to your families, and kill the Pesach. And ye shall take a bunch of hyssop, and dip it in blood that is in the basin, and strike the lintel and the two posts, with the two posts that is in the blood that is in the basin, with the blood that is in the basin. And none of you shall go out of the door of his house until the morning. For Yahuah will pass through and smite Mitzrayim. And when he sees the blood upon the lintel and upon the two side posts, Yahuah will pass over the door, and will not suffer the destroyer to come in unto your house to smite you. And ye shall guard this thing for an ordinance to you and your sons forever. So now we're going to keep going. Exodus 12, 25 through 36. Give me just a moment. One moment, guys. Okay, sorry, I'm just going to start over. Exodus 12, 25 through 36. And it shall come to pass, when ye are come into the land which Yahuah will give you, according to as he has promised, that ye shall guard this service. And it shall come to pass, when your children shall say unto you, What mean ye by this service? That ye shall say, It is the sacrifice of Yahuah's Pesach, who passed over the houses of the children of Yashar'el in Mitzrayim, when he smote the Mitzrayim and delivered our houses. And the people bowed the head and worshipped, and the children of Yashar'el went away, as did Yahuah, and did as Yahuah had commanded Moshe and Aaron, so did they. And it came to pass that at midnight Yahuah smote all the firstborn in the land of Mitzrayim, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sat on the throne, unto the firstborn of the captive that was in the dungeon, and all the firstborn of the cattle. And Pharaoh rose up in the night, he and all his servants, and all the Mitzrayim. And there was a great cry in Mitzrayim, for there was not a house where there was not one dead. And he called for Moshe and Aaron by night, and said, Rise up, and get you forth from among my people, both ye and the children of Yashar'el, and go, serve Yahuah as ye have said. Also take your flocks and your herds, as ye have said, and be gone, and bless me also. And the Mitzrayim were urgent upon the people, that they might send them out of the land in haste. For they said, We be all dead men. And the people took their dough before it was leavened, and their kneading troughs being bound up in their clothes and upon their shoulders. And the children of Yashar'el did according to the word of Moshe, and they bowed And they borrowed of the Mitzrayim jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment. And Yahuah gave the people favor in the sight of Mitzrayim, so that they so that they lent unto them such things as they required, and they spoiled the Mitzrayim. So, all right, now I want to stop and talk about lines 37 and 38. Let's read that again really quick. Lines 37 and 38 say, oh, did I get to? No, I read to 36. Oh, never mind. Lines 37 and 38 say, And the children of Yashar'el journeyed from Ramesses to Sukkoth, about 600,000 on foot that were men, beside the children. About 600,000 on foot that were men, beside the children. And a mixed multitude went up also with them, and flocks and herds, and very much cattle. So we see this mixed multitude go up with the children of Yashar'el. And we can also see a giant multitude standing with the 144,000 who stand before the throne. Revelation 7, 4 through 9. And I heard the number of them who were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Yashar'el. Of the tribe of Yehudah were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Reuben were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Gad were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Asher were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Naphtali were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Manasseh were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Shimon were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Levi were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Yishakar were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Zebulun were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Yosef were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Benjamin were sealed 12,000. And after this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude, which no man could number, of all nations and kindreds and people and tongues, stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands. Give me one moment, brothers and sisters. Sorry, guys. My daughter does not want to go to bed. My 3-year-old. All right, let's continue to line 41. Exodus 12, 39 through 41. And they baked matzah cakes of dough, which they brought forth out of Mitzrayim, for it was not leavened, because they were thrust out of Mitzrayim. And they could not tarry, neither had they prepared for themselves any victual. Now the sojourning of the children of Yashar'el, who dwelt in the land of Mitzrayim, and in the land of Canaan, they and their fathers, was 430 years. And it came to pass that at the end of 430 years, even the selfsame day it came to pass that all the hosts of Yahuah went out from the land of Mitzrayim. 430 years to the day was their time spent as sojourners, not just in Egypt, but in the land of Canaan as well. Yahuah had all of this planned out to the very day. And we can see something similar in Revelation 9:15. And the 4 angels were loose, which were prepared for an hour, and a day, and a month, and a year, for to slay the third part of men. So they were prepared for a specific time, an exact day. Let's talk about line 42 as well. Exodus 12:42. It is a night to be much observed unto Yahuah, for bringing them out from the land of Mitzrayim. That is the night of Yahuah to be observed of all the children of Yashar'el in their generations. Now, in this day, it is about now, in this day, in this time, it is about how Messiah took us spiritually out of Egypt. He bought us. He paid the price. He is our perfect lamb. Jeremiah 23, 7 through 8. Therefore, behold, the days come, says Yahuah, that they shall no more say, Yahuah lives, which brought up the children of Yashar'el out of the land of Mitzrayim. But Yahuah lives, which brought up and which led the seed of the house of Yashar'el out of the north country, and from all countries whither I had driven them, and they shall dwell in their own land. The second Exodus is going to be so great that they won't even talk about the first one anymore. Exodus 12:43 through 46. And Yahuah said unto Moshe and Aaron, This is the ordinance of the Pesach. There shall no stranger eat thereof, but every man's servant that is bought for money, which you have circumcised him, then shall he eat thereof. A foreigner and a hired servant shall not eat thereof. In one house shall it be eaten, and you shall not carry forth aught of the flesh abroad out of the house. Neither shall ye break a bone thereof. So you shall not skin it, and a bone shall not be broken. pointing to our Messiah. Psalms 34:20 through 22. He guards all his bones, not one of them is broken. Evil shall slay the wicked, and they that hate the righteous shall be desolate. Yahuah redeems the soul of his servants, and none of them that trust in him shall be desolate. 1 Peter 1:18 through 19. For as much as ye know that we are not redeemed with corruptible things, as silver and gold, from your vain conversation received by tradition from your fathers, but with the precious blood of Mashiach, as a lamb without blemish and without spot. Revelation 5:6 through 13. And I beheld, and lo, in the midst of the throne, and of the 4 living creatures, and in the midst of the elders, stood a lamb, as it had been slain, having 7 horns and 7 eyes, which are the 7 ruachot of Elohim, the 7 spirits of Yahuah, sent forth into all the earth. And he came and took the scepter out of the right hand of him that sat upon the throne. And when he had taken the scepter, the 4 living creatures and 24 elders fell down before the Lamb, having every one of them kithara, and golden vials of odors, which are the prayers of the Kodashim. And they sung a new song, saying, You are worthy to take the scepter, and to open the seals thereof. For you were slain, and have redeemed us to Elohim by your blood, out of every kindred, and tongue, and people, and nation, and have made us unto Elohim kings and priests, and we shall reign on the earth. And I beheld, and I heard the voice of many angels round about the throne, and the living creatures, and the elders, and the number of them was 10,000 times 10,000 times 10,000, and thousands of thousands, saying with a loud voice, Worthy is the Lamb that was slain to receive power, and riches, and wisdom, and strength, and honor, and glory, and blessing, and every creature which is in heaven, and on earth, and under the earth, and such as are in the sea, and all that are in them, heard I saying, Blessing, and honor, and glory, and power be unto him that sits upon the throne, and unto the Lamb forever and ever. So a lot of people ask this question. A lot of people ask, should Messiah be worshipped? And I personally say yes. When Messiah taught us how to pray, he showed us how to pray to the Father, Yahuah. So let's ask this question. If Messiah Yahusha appeared to you right now, you're telling me that you would not drop to your knees and you would not bow your head before him and give him glory and honor and praise and worship and thanks. In David's day, people bowed down to him. Enoch, if you're following my Enoch series, we see Enoch, people bowed down to him. I'm sorry, brothers and sisters. Give me a moment. Okay, sorry. As I was saying, yeah, in David's day, people bowed down to him. If you're following my Enoch series, we see also in Enoch's day, they bowed down to him. In David, he was their king. So, I mean, how much more is Yahusha, our eternal king, the King of Kings? And our prayers are towards the Father. We pray to Yahuah, but Messiah is worthy of glory and honor and blessing and praise. Exodus 12, 47 through 51. All the assembly of Yashar'el shall keep it. And when a stranger shall sojourn with you, and will keep the Pesach to Yahuah, let all his males be circumcised, and then let him come near and keep it. And he shall be as one that is born in the land, for no uncircumcised person shall eat thereof. 1 Torah shall be to him that is homeborn, and unto the stranger that sojourns among you. Thus did all the children of Yashar'el, as Yahuah commanded Moshe and Aaron, so they did. And it came to pass the selfsame day that Yahuah did bring the children of Yashar'el out of the land of Mitzrayim by their armies. So let's talk about line 51, when he says that he brings his people out a second time. When he brings his people out a second time, he says that he's going to do it by his armies. And we will discuss this more when we start talking about the 144,000. Jasher 80, 41 through 81, or 41, and then through chapter 81, line 5. And the days of darkness passed away, and Yahuah sent Moshe and Aaron and the children of to the children of Yashar'el, saying, Celebrate your feast and make your Pesach, for behold, I come in the midst of the night amongst all the Mitzrayim, and I will smite all their firstborn, from the firstborn of a man to the firstborn of a beast. And when I see your Pesach, I will pass over you. And the children of Yashar'el did all according that Yahuah had commanded Moshe and Aaron. And the children of Yashar'el did according to all that Yahuah had commanded Moshe and Aaron. Thus they did in that night. And it came to pass in the middle of the night that Yahuah went forth in the midst of Mitzrayim, and smote the firstborn of Mitzrayim, from the firstborn of a man to the firstborn of the beast. And Pharaoh rose up in the night, and all his servants, and all Mitzrayim, and there was a great cry throughout Mitzrayim that night. For there was not a house in which there was not a corpse. Also the likeness of the firstborn of Mitzrayim, which were carved in the walls of their houses, were destroyed and fell to the ground, even to the bones of their firstborn who had died before this, and whom they had buried in their houses, were raked up by the dogs of Mitzrayim on that night, and dragged before the Mitzrayim, and cast out before them. And all the Mitzrayim saw this evil which had suddenly come upon them, and all the Mitzrayim cried out with a loud voice, and all the families of Mitzrayim wept upon that night, each man for his son, and each man for his daughter, being the firstborn. And the tumult of Mitzrayim was heard at a distance on that night. And Bathia, the daughter of Pharaoh, went forth with the kings on that night to seek Moshe and Aaron in their houses. And they found them in their houses eating and drinking and rejoicing with all of Yashar'el. And Bathia said to Moshe, "Is this the reward for the good which I have done to you, who had reared you and stretched you out, and you have brought this evil upon me and my father's house?" And Moshe said unto her, "Surely 10 plagues did Yahuah bring upon Mitzrayim. Did any evil accrue to you from any of them? Did any one of them affect you?" And she said, "No." And Moshe said to her, "Although you are the firstborn to your mother, you shall not die, and no evil shall reach you in the midst of Mitzrayim." And she said, "What advantage is it to me when I see the king, my brother, and all his household and subjects in this evil, whose firstborn perish with all the firstborn of Mitzrayim?" And Moshe said to her, "Surely your brother and his household and subjects and the families of Mitzrayim would not hearken to the words of Yahuah. Therefore did this evil come upon them." And Pharaoh, king of Mitzrayim, approached Moshe and Aaron and some of the children of Yashar'el who were with them in that place, and he prayed to them, saying, "Rise up and take your brethren, all the children of Yashar'el who are in the land, and with their sheep and oxen, and all belonging to them. They shall leave nothing remaining. Only pray for me to Yahuah Elohim." And Moshe said to Pharaoh, "Behold, though you are your mother's firstborn, yet fear not, for you will not die, for Yahuah has commanded that you shall live, in order to show you his great might and strong stretched out arm." And Pharaoh ordered the children of Yashar'el to be sent away, and all the Mitzrayim strengthened themselves to send them. For they said, "We are all perishing." And all the Mitzrayim sent Yashar'el forth with great riches and sheep and oxen and precious things, according to the oath of Yahuah between him and our father Abraham. And the children of Yashar'el delayed going forth at night. And when the Mitzrayim came to them and brung them out and said to them, "Are we thieves that we should go forth at night?" And the children of Yashar'el asked of the Mitzrayim vessels of silver and vessels of gold and garments. And the children of Yashar'el stripped the Mitzrayim. And Moshe hastened and rose up and went to the river of Mitzrayim, and he brought up from thence the coffin of Yosef, and took it with him. And the children of Yashar'el also brought up each man his father's coffin with him, and each man the coffins of his tribe. All right, now we're into chapter 81. We're going to go to line 5. And the children of Yashar'el journeyed from Ramesses to Succoth, about 6,000 men on foot, besides the little ones and their women. Also a mixed multitude went up with them, and flocks and herds, even much cattle. And the sojourning of the children of Yashar'el, who dwelt in the land of Mitzrayim, and hard labor, was 210 years. So the time that they were in Egypt alone, just in hard labor, was 210 years. And at the end of 210 years, Yahuah brought forth the children of Yashar'el from Mitzrayim with a strong hand, and the children of Yashar'el traveled from Mitzrayim and from Goshen and from Ramesses, and encamped in Succoth on the 15th day of the first month. So now let's read Luke 22:19. And he took the bread and gave thanks and broke it, and he gave unto them, saying, "This is my body, which is given for you. This do in remembrance of me." So we can take that as we do that when we do the Passover, that we should be doing it in remembrance of him. And you can also take it too as anytime you're breaking bread or eating, when you're breaking bread with your brethren, you can think about that. But take that how you will and pray on it. I say that we take it as, doing the Passover in remembrance of what our Messiah came here to do for us. John 15:1-11. I am the vine of truth, and my Father is the husbandman. Every branch in me that bears not fruit, he takes away. And every branch that bears fruit, he purges it, that it may bring forth more fruit. Now ye are clean through the word which I have spoken unto you. Abide in me, and I in you, as the branch that cannot bear fruit itself, except it abide in the vine. No more can ye, except ye abide in me. I am the vine, and ye are the netzarim, the branches. He that abides in me, and I in him, the same brings forth much fruit. For without me ye can do nothing. And if a man abide not in me, he is cast forth as a branch, and it is withered. And men gather him, and cast him into the fire, and they are burned. If ye abide in me, and my words abide in you, ye shall ask what ye will, and it shall be done unto you. Herein is my Father glorified, that ye bear much fruit, and ye shall be my talmidim, my disciples. As the Father has loved me, so have I loved you. Continue ye in my love. If ye guard my commandments, ye shall abide in my love, even as I have guarded my Father's commandments, and abide in his love. These things I have spoken unto you, that my joy might remain in you, and that your joy might be full. The covenant has always been to the Father through Messiah, Yahusha, our mediator. I mean, before Messiah, it's hard to explain. Before Messiah, we did have mediators. I mean, we had the angels. They interceded for us to Yahuah. But Messiah came and fulfilled something even bigger. So, all right, I want to read a few lines from chapter 12 out of the Targums, and then we're going to wrap up with chapter 13. We're going to go to line 16. So this is the Targums. This is Exodus 2. We're going to be reading quite a few lines real quick. So we're going to read Exodus 12:2 from the Targums. This month is ordained to be to you the beginning of months, and from it you shall begin to number for festivals and times and cycles, and it shall be to you the first of the number of the months of the year. This is Targums Exodus 12:6. And it shall be bound and reserved for you until the 14th day of the month, that you may not know the fear of the Mizri when they see it. And ye shall kill him according to the right of all the congregation of the assembly of Yashar'el between the sons. 12:8, Exodus 12:8. And you shall eat the flesh on that night, the 15th of Nisan, until the dividing of the night, roasted with fire, without leaven, and with horehound, which I believe is like horseradish. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Pretty sure that's what horehound is. Some kind of bitter herb, something like that. And lettuce shall you eat it. Exodus 12:13. And the blood of the paschal oblation, like the matter of circumcision, shall be a bale for you, to become a sign upon the house where you dwell. And I will look upon the worth of the blood, and will spare you. And the angel of death, to whom it is given power to destroy, shall have no dominion over you in the slaughter of the Mizri. And also Exodus 12:33. And Yahuah said to Moshe and to Aaron, this is the rite of the Pesach. Every son of Yashar'el who apostatizes shall not eat of it. So being in an apostate state is to be in a state of sin. And I also want to point out here too that it says that the paschal oblation, the Passover lamb, eating the lamb, and the matter of circumcision. So now it is more of a circumcision of heart. I do believe that physical circumcision matters, but I believe circumcision of the heart matters even more. But it says that this is like a bail. The blood of the lamb is a bail for us, like bailing you, like getting bailed out of jail, like that. Think about that. Okay, it is a bail for you, and to become a sign upon the houses where you dwell. All right, so let's wrap things up with chapter 13. Now we're going to be talking about the consecration of the firstborn and the festival, or the Feast of Unleavened Bread. So let's start with lines 1 and 2. Exodus 13:1 and 2. And Yahuah spoke unto Moshe, saying, Sanctify unto me all the firstborn, whatsoever opens the womb among the children of Yashar'el, both of man and beast, it is mine. So the firstborn and man and beast is to be consecrated and set apart to Yahuah. Exodus 13, 3-7. And Moshe said unto the people, Remember this day in which ye came out of Mizraim, out of the house of bondage, for by strength and by hand Yahuah brought you out of this place, and there shall be no chametz eaten. And this day ye came out in the month of Aviv, and it shall be, when Yahuah shall bring you into the land of the Canaanim, and the Hittim, and the Amorim, and the Hivim, and the Yuvasim, which ye swore unto your fathers to give you, a land flowing with milk and honey, that ye shall keep this service in this month. 7 days shall ye eat matzah, and in the 7th day shall be a feast to Yahuah. And matzah shall be eaten 7 days, and there shall be no chametz seen with you, neither shall there be leaven seen with you in all your quarters. So let's talk about this really quickly. During the time of the Passover, people get really crazy about like leavening agents, and I'm still pretty new to this. Correct me if I'm wrong. Just this is my personal, like where I'm at, what I've observed, what I've studied, what I've read in the scriptures, everything. Like this is just like a combination of all of it together from what I have gathered. So please do, if you feel like something I say is wrong or incorrect or not wholly correct, just please do feel free to correct me. Let me know. I am open to correction. So let's talk about leaven though really quickly, because during Passover time people get really crazy about leavening agents. I mean, people throw away everything in their house that can be used as an agent to make dough rise, like even going as far as like throwing away all their baking soda and stuff. And like, I don't know, personally I think people get a little too crazy about it, like makes me think like how the Pharisees were. And I think, what is being said here is to throw out like active leaven, like, like your sourdough starters and things like that, out with the old and with the new. I'm sure after some time, those things probably do start to go bad. Like, if you have this using the same sourdough starter for years, it probably is good to throw out the old one, and get a new one after the Feast of Unleavened Bread is over, get some new starter. That makes a little more sense to me. I mean, if I'm wrong, let me know. Exodus 13, 8-9. Matzah shall be eaten 7 days, and there shall be no chametz seen with you, neither shall there be leaven seen with you in all your quarters. And you shall show your son in that day, saying, This is done because of that which Yahuah did unto me when I came forth out of Mizraim. So this here is important. We just read a few minutes ago in the Targums that the blood of the Passover lamb would be like a bail for us, to bail us out of iniquity, to be bought by Yahuah. Think of it of like being in jail, and then you have a bail set, and that must be paid before you're free. The blood of the lamb, the physical lamb then, and now our spiritual lamb, Messiah, paid that bail money for us through their blood and set us free. And you use the blood of the lamb then as a sign to mark on the doorpost so that the angel of death would pass over them. The blood of Messiah now is a mark upon us. It covers us like a shield. And this feast and the keeping of it is a sign in our hand and in our forehead. And we can look at Revelation 13, 16 through 17. All right. And he causes both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehands, and that no man may buy or sell, save he that have the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. And then we see also here in Deuteronomy 6, 1 through 25. Now these are the commandments, the statutes, and the judgments which Yahuah Elohim commanded to teach you, that ye might do them in the land whither you go to possess it, that you might fear Yahuah Elohim, to guard all his statutes and his commandments which I command you, you and your son and your son's son, all the days of your life, and that your days may be prolonged. Hear therefore, O Yashar'el, and guard to do it, that it may be well with you, and that ye may increase mightily, as Yahuah Elohim of your fathers has promised you, in the land that flows with milk and honey. Hear, O Yashar'el, Yahuah Eloheinu, Yahuah is one, and you shall love Yahuah Eloheka with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your might. And these words which I command you this day shall be in your heart, and you shall teach them diligently unto your children, and shall talk of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up. And you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. And you shall write them upon the posts of your house and on your gates. And it shall be, when Yahuah Eloheka shall have brought you into the land which he swore unto your fathers, to Abraham, and to Yitzchak, and to Yaakov, to give you great and goodly cities, which you built not, and houses full of good things, which you filled not, and wells dug, which you dug not, vineyards and olive trees, which you planted not, when you shall have eaten and be full. Then beware, lest you forget Yahuah, which brought you forth out of the land of Mitzrayim, from the house of bondage. You shall fear Yahuah Eloheka, and serve him, and shall swear by his name. You shall not go after other Elohim, of the Elohim of the people which are round about you. For Yahuah Eloheka is a jealous El among you, lest the anger of Yahuah Eloheka be kindled against you, and destroy you from the face of the earth. You shall not tempt Yahuah Elohekim, as ye had tempted him in Makkah. Ye shall diligently guard the commandments of Yahuah Elohim, and his testimonies and his statutes which he has commanded you. And you shall do that which is right and good in the sight of Yahuah, that it may be well with you, and that you may go in the land and possess the good land which Yahuah swore unto your fathers, to cast out all of your enemies from before you, as Yahuah had spoken. And when your son asked you in the time comes, saying, What mean the testimonies and the statutes and the judgments which Yahuah Eloheinu has commanded you? Then you shall say unto your son, We were Pharaoh's bondmen in Mitzrayim, and Yahuah brought us out of Mitzrayim with a mighty hand. And Yahuah showed signs and wonders, and great and sore, upon Mitzrayim, and upon Pharaoh, and upon all his household before our eyes. And he brought us out from thence, that he might bring us in to give us the land which he swore unto our fathers. And Yahuah commanded us to do all these statutes, to fear Yahuah Eloheinu for our good always, that he might preserve us alive, as it is this day. And it shall be our righteousness, if we guard to do all these commandments before Yahuah Eloheinu, as he has commanded us. So, everyone focuses so much on the mark of the beast. And do you think that it's coincidence that Satan is, do you think that it's coincidence that the marking of Yahuah is also in the hand and in the forehead? No, because Satan is a copycat. And this is why I personally believe that the mark is more spiritual than physical. More about who you serve. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely do not discredit the fact of a physical mark. I do believe in, I really am leaning more towards the spiritual side, but I do believe that there will be a physical mark too, because if there's one thing that we can see when we read in scripture, there's always a physical aspect and there's always a spiritual aspect to most everything. Not everything is this way in scripture, but most everything has two aspects. There is a physical one and then there is a spiritual one. And I do think, Satan is twisted and he likes harming people, so it would not surprise me to see him physically mark his people with a microchip or something like that. It would not surprise me, because he is screwed up like that and wants to hurt people. But I think more or less it is more spiritual. It's more about who you serve, and it's more about what's in your heart, where your heart is, if you will. And we see Yahusha's blood being a mark as well. And then Passover and unleavened bread being a mark. And then Ezekiel 9:2-4. And behold, 6 men came from the way of the hither gate, which lies towards the north, and every man a slaughter weapon in his hand. And one man among them was clothed with linen, and with a writer's inkhorn by his side. And they went in and stood beside a brazen altar. And the glory of the Elohai of Yashar'el was gone up from the keruv, whereupon he was, to the threshold of the house. And he called to the man clothed with linen, which had the writer's inkhorn by his side. And Yahuah said unto him, Go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Yerushalayim, and set a tav upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and cry for the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. A tav is a mark. So we see that those who weep and sigh for the abominations that are being done in the land, and even now so for the people who weep and sigh for the wickedness and the evil and the Torahless deeds that go on in the world, they are marked. We also see in Deuteronomy 6 that those who keep the commandments and guard them are marked in their hand and in their forehead. And we also see the Sabbath as well in Ezekiel 20:11 through 13. And I gave them my statutes and showed them my judgments, which if a man do, he shall even live in them. Moreover, I gave them my Shabbat to be a sign between me and them, that they might know that I am Yahuah that sanctify them. But the house of Yashar'el rebelled against me in the wilderness. They walked not in my statutes, and they despised my judgments, which if a man do, he shall even live in them. And my Shabbats they greatly polluted. Then I said, I will pour out my fury upon them in the wilderness to consume them. And in Exodus 31:13 through 17. Speak also unto the children of Yashar'el, saying, Truly my Shabbats ye shall guard, for it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that ye may know that I am Yahuah Mekodishkim, which is Yahuah who sanctifies you. Ye shall guard the Shabbat therefore, for it is holy unto you. Everyone that defiles it surely shall be surely put to death. For whosoever does any work therein, that soul shall be cut off from among his people. 6 days may work be done, but in the 7th is the Shabbat of rest, holy to Yahuah. Whosoever does any work in the Shabbat, he shall surely be put to death. Wherefore the children of Yashar'el shall guard the Shabbat, to do the Shabbat through their generations, for a perpetual covenant, a continual covenant. It is a sign between me and the children of Yashar'el forever. For in 6 days Yahuah made the heavens and the earth, and on the 7th day he rested and was refreshed. So the Sabbath itself, when you keep it, it is a sign. The Hebrew word for mark is tav, and it is his mark between him and his people. And I think that doing all of these things together, not just any one of them in particular, but doing them all together, keeping the 10 commandments, guarding the feast days, guarding the dietary laws, guarding the Shabbat, all of it, I think all of that combined together is how you are marked, and teaching them to your children. And a lot of people, when they begin their walk, they start with the Sabbath and the feast days. And what is interesting about this feast day in general is it says that it is a sign unto you in your hand, and for a memorial as frontlets between your eyes, that if you do it, your reward is that Yahweh's Torah may be in your mouth. Action, reward. So, all right, now we're going to read through to line 16 and go ahead and finish this up. So, Exodus 13:10 through 16. You shall therefore guard this ordinance in its appointed time from year to year. And it shall be, when Yahuah shall bring you into the land of the Canaanim, as he swore unto you and your fathers, and shall give it to you, that you shall set apart unto Yahuah all that open the womb, and every firstling that comes of a beast which you have, the male shall be Yahuah's, and every firstling of an ass you shall redeem with a lamb. And if you will not redeem it, then you shall break his neck. And all the firstborn of man among your children shall you redeem. And it shall be, when your son asks you in his time to come, saying, What is this? That you shall say unto him, By strength of hand Yahuah brought us out from Mitzrayim, from the house of bondage. And it came to pass, when Pharaoh would hardly let us go, that Yahuah slew all the firstborn in the land of Mitzrayim, both the firstborn of man and the firstborn of beasts. Therefore I sacrifice to Yahuah all that opens the womb, being males, but all the firstborn of my children I redeem. And it shall be for a mark upon your hand, and for frontlets between your eyes, for by strength of hand Yahuah brought us forth out of Mitzrayim. Again, we see that sign upon the hand and in the forehead, found in keeping the Passover. And, speaking just in general about the Passover, I have a couple points that I want to cover really quickly before we finish. So, talking about the regathering, the second Exodus, we see here in Jeremiah 31:8, Behold, I will bring them from the north country and gather them from the coasts of the earth, and with them the blind and the lame, and the woman with child, and her that travails with child together. A great company shall return thither. So we see a great company shall return here. And we saw in Revelation with the 144,000, there was a whole multitude of people from all nations and tongues and kindreds. And this is the Masoretic text. So when we look at the Septuagint, which is much older than the Masoretic text, it says something that is very interesting. The chapter breaks are a little different in the Septuagint. So Jeremiah 31:8 in the Septuagint is actually Jeremiah 38:8. And it says, Behold, I bring them from the north, and will gather them from the end of the earth to the feast of Passover. And the people shall beget a great multitude, and they shall return hither. So, to me personally, it sounds like the day of Passover is the day that we are waiting for to be regathered for this greater second Exodus, and the great feast, the marriage supper with the Lamb. So, for me, from now on, when I keep the Passover, I will be keeping that day with very great anticipation and awaiting our King's return. So, all right, brothers and sisters, that wraps up this week's Torah portion. Please do not forget to go check out my Facebook group and check out my website. I will list the links down below, and let's go ahead and close this up with a prayer, brothers and sisters. Yahuah, let us glorify your name. Let us bring honor and praises to your name. Let us praise your Son, Yahusha HaMashiach. Glory and honor goes to him as well, and he is worthy of all glory. He is perfect in heart, and he is the example we follow. Yahuah, make us more like him. Humble us as he is humble, and put your Ruach HaKodesh within us, and keep us strong with your word in your word, and sharpen our swords, and guide our mouths, Yahuah, that we may speak your words. And we love you, Yahuah, the Most High. In Yahusha's name we pray. Amen. All right, brothers and sisters, I will see you again next week. Enjoy the rest of your Shabbat and Shalom.